Hello and welcome to today's live session. It's been a little while. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that is joining us so far. My name is Jamie. I am the CMO here at BitGet Wallet. It's my absolute honor to bring some amazing guests here with you today. We're talking all things pump fun, of course, pump token creation, and we're going to be talking about a few exciting initiatives that we have here at BitGet Wallet. Now, before we do get involved and get started with today's discussion, let me give a shout out to some of the people that have joined us live. I can see Equation Taker, I can see Recon Bass, Chow, Rocky, Patrick. Thank you very much to everybody that has joined us so far. We are almost at 300 people tuned in. Okay, without any further ado, you know who I am. Of course, you know who BitGet Wallet are, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. Let me hand on over to John. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm John. I'm BitGet's Wallet's growth advisor for the EU. Yeah, I've been in crypto since 2021, but I'm ready to take on this crypto world with BitGet Wallet and make it the best we can.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us today, John. George, over to you, buddy.
Hello, everyone. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here with everyone. My name is Jorge Bartra, and I'm actually the founder here at Poppy AI, and we're in Solana, so it's a lot of fun. And once again, thank you for having us.
No, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for your time, George. And it's so nice to hear different accents from all around the world. That is what makes crypto truly exciting. Thank you very much. Daniel, over to you, buddy.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Daniel Cooper, based out of New York City and representing Brokecoin. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to today's discussion.
Thank you very much for joining us, Daniel. Again, another accent. Thank you very much for jumping on. And Pixie, over to you, please.
Good morning, y'all. I am from the U.S. I'm a little bit south of Daniel. I'm in the southeast United States. I've been in crypto since 2013, which was an accidental purchase of Bitcoin. And I currently have a project called Ladies on Soul. And I am looking forward to being here.
Very nice. Thank you very much for joining. And last but not least, a good friend of mine for many years now. Absolute legend of the space, Crypto Minute Run. Welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on at the moment?
Thank you very much, Jamie. It's always a pleasure hanging with you. I'm representing Toronto, Canada over here, proudly, obviously, as well. And yeah, I'm a private crypto coach. I've been in the space since 2017. I've done some social medias for some YouTubers here and there. And I'm very happy to be here and chat about exactly the pump fund, which is it's the hype all over the market right now. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And today's discussion, listen, it's a controversial one. I think we're going to get various opinions coming in, and I can't wait to get some of your wonderful insights. Now, quick reminder, if you're not familiar with BitGet Wallet, of course, it is your go-to application for all things Web3 trading. We're going to discover one of its fantastic tools in MemeScan a little bit later on in today's session. But let's get on with the subject at hand. I'm going to come straight to you, Crypto Minute Run. What is your thoughts on this pump fund token? Let's go.
Well, Jamie, I'm torn. I'm torn between decentralized and centralized assets. You know what I mean? With the pump fund, I when it first came out, I wasn't a fan. I'll be honest. But once I jumped on and seen how easily and freely you can move within the space, especially within Solana, which is going to be a growing asset, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be I'm going to be trading it because I'm a trader as well, and I think it's a positive move because the hype brings a lot of positive eyes to the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And eyes do bring, positive or negative movement, dependent, of course, on where that traction goes. Now, let me set the scene a little bit. Now, the Pump Fund token, the ticker is Pump. The token sale happened on the 12th of July. Now, this thing sold out in 12 minutes, an incredible amount of time. Let me just share my screen with you so that you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Now, 12 minutes, you're probably thinking, wow, is it impressive? Is it not? And maybe, a little bit up in arms about that. But actually, the most impressive thing about this is the value of the funds that they raised. They raised over $500 million. And by the way, this is valued at $4 billion. It is guaranteed to go on sale on top exchanges, and it already has done at BitGet, Gate.io, KuCoin, Bybit, and Kraken. And pump tokens are actually starting to arrive within 48 to 72 hours after the completion, which is probably right now for many people. So if you are considering, the place to maybe trade this, to have a look at it, I just want to make sure that you know that BitGet Wallet, of course, we are giving the opportunity to come and trade it nice and early, but there are lots of incentives, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in today's session. Now, before we do get into that, let's come back to some of our guests here, and I'd like to come to you, Pixie. I'd really like to know your thoughts. $500 million for a token sale. This thing's in many aspects in terms of numbers, but what's your take on it?
Pre-sales kind of scare the shit out of me, to be absolutely honest. And I wasn't aware of this token until approximately 45 seconds ago. Apparently, I wasn't around on July 12th, which is fine. I apparently missed a great opportunity, but I'm going to do some digging into it right now.
I mean, it's super interesting. I can see some of the comments here from Crypto Saving. Now, I've not fact checked this, but they're saying that in 12 minutes, 189 people aped in over $1 million alone. That's an incredible, incredible amount. John, what's your take on this?
And I mean, so they should. I mean, not financial advice, but to be honest, I think Pump Fun has proven to everybody that it has a place in the system that is crypto. I mean, of course, a lot of us were skeptical about Pump right at the beginning, but of course, I've been using Pump on the BitGet wallet very recently. I never really did before, and yeah, I can see why people are attracted to it, and it definitely has a place in crypto. So the fact that it's raised that amount of money in that short time, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I'm really excited to see what the chart looks like when the launch happens. Is it going to be the same as every Pump Fun token and then gradually go up again? If you know what I mean. If you've been in tokens, we have drops and we have shoot offs. I'm really, really excited to see that moment where is it going to go and fly straight away, or is it going to come down then fly? But yes, it has room in the space, and yeah, I'm really excited, especially on BitGet Wallet and what you've done with it. The flashing is a way, and that's the main thing that put me off the actual the website. It just looks so clean on the wallet.
No, I appreciate that, and in terms of the kind feedback for the UX or the experience that users do have. I mean, Daniel, I'd like to come to your perspective. Pump Fun, especially in the States, has had a little bit of negative and positive press. I think that would be a beyond fair comment, right? From your own perspective, I'd love to get on two parts. As a US person or citizen or somebody involved within those markets, your opinion, but then actually what your personal thoughts are, upon Pump Fun and then this token launch.
Well, there's a lot of mixed opinions. I mean, a lot of people have said that, Pump Fun could be a force for good, could be a force for bad. It's heavily debated on its impact into meme culture and, creating so many coins that, have, not had the best of launches or ended up in a good way or a bad way. But I would say that this pre-sale definitely shows that there is still liquidity out there. There's still people out there. There's still the degen culture. It's just not the same culture as we've all been used to. I think when it comes to, memes or projects that are able to raise these type of funds, it just shows that, what I say about Brocoin, meme utilities are the way to go. So there's still money out there for projects. It's just you have to innovate a little bit. And for what it's worth, Pump Fun innovated and they did something, differently, and they've clearly won. So, whether you like them or hate them, they've definitely solved the recipe there, and they've had, outstanding continuous success.
Absolutely. If you don't mind me asking, where did you launch Brocoin?
Well, with Brocoin, we did a stealth launch. We just used the regular tools websites, just because I wanted to have complete control over its launch. So I actually used Odin tools for it. I was looking at, Smithy tools and a couple of other different ways of launching, but that clean UI that Odin has is kind of the way we went. And just because, as we were figuring out Brocoin and how to launch it and how to, find our success and be fair with it, we were looking for a simple and cheap solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And sorry to come in a little bit with the secondary question there. Guys, I do want to do a quick reminder to everybody that is watching. Now, we are giving away $200 worth of pump in this session. And this is going to be given to 5 winners that are tuning in just here that ask a question. Now, if your question is selected, I will let you know if you are a winner. Of course, we're going to cover many questions. But for the 5 that I do select, we'll get in touch with you. You can drop your sole address or whatever, and we'll figure that and get it across to you, your winnings. Who knows? It may be worth a hell of a lot more by the end of today's session. Now, George, I'd love to get your thoughts on this before we start opening up to the floor in terms of the comments coming in from the community.
Awesome. Yeah. So at least from my side, I was aware actually quite early. I can't remember when was it. I think it was from, I don't know if you guys saw that extractor token that happened quite a few weeks ago, and there was some rumors about it that PumpFun was going to launch its own token. So it was kind of like, yeah, you know about it, John? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's all in the background, right?
Right. Yeah. So I was kind of like already kind of like aware that something was gonna happen, right? Because there was already rumors about it, and then once they started talking about it, and at least in my circles, initially everyone was thinking like, oh my god, like, is it gonna be like a good launch? Is it gonna be a failed launch? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna lose or am I gonna win? And a lot of members, at least from our community, again, we coming from Poppy AI, we were all kind of like thinking, are we gonna get in? I do know some members that did get in, and they got really lucky because, to be honest, that thing just went really, really, really fast. I was kind of like thinking, am I gonna get into it or not? Because I was the KYC, right? But it just went so fast, and I was like, all right, well, let's just go, So yeah, and to be fair, I think, look, maybe a lot of things happen in PumpFun that everybody knows about, but if there's something that I would like to be honest about, it is that they have done the launch of tokens really, really good, right? Like, I feel like as innovation, for this platform, I think it's great. I mean, we do have like our own decks in another chain as well. I mean, that's something I would like to mention. And there's one thing that is very good about them is that when you launch a token, it gets a little bit scary because most of the contracts you don't know, right? Like, if it's a custom contract, I think everybody knows what happens, right? But in the case of what they have done is, like, you have a standard contract, you're safe for sure, at least that it's not a bad contract, right? So that's very innovative. And then the what is this, the curve, the bonding curve, also really, really good. I think they did really, really well, as well as the live streams. So I think them going further with their token launch, I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it, because I think it's gonna be very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what comes next is definitely what I would suggest right now on everybody's minds and lips. What's going to happen. Let's address a few of these comments. And reminder, we are giving away to 5 winners $200 worth of prizes. So thank you very much for your questions. I would really like to come with this first question from Fidel_7. Now, will early pump buyers through MemeScan get any future perks? Now, this is a great question, and I'm going to address it at the very end. So thank you very much for that. Stay tuned for the answer. What we will do is, at this point, I'm going to come to this question because it's a talking point for the panel of, they believe, MongoP, INT, it's a force of bad. There's too much toxic and dangerous environments and lots of scammers. Who wants to get me kicked off on this comment when it comes to PumpFun? Let's go.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, that's actually a really good question and a good comment, because I don't know if you guys remember the 13-year-old kid
Oh yeah.
who launched
Oh
his own
yeah. He
coin,
was so happy, right? He was
right?
so happy.
Right.
Yeah.
So the ease of access, I believe, is you're right. The ease of access to crypto is wonderful, but I think when you can get a 13-year-old rugging, rugging a whole community, it's definitely a warning sign as well that we need some sort of parameters in the space as well. No thoughts?
I think definitely. I
I
think.
actually
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
Mm.
My thoughts about it. Yes, we do need parameters. I think that they're in a unique position to have seen all of the errors and all of the things that have happened previously, and now it's up to them to set a standard for, making sure things are safer and more controlled going forward. I mean, if everybody
Great point.
remembers Silk Road and everything like that, when Bitcoin first came out, and for a while, and I mean, Pixie being deep in it, I'm sure can definitely attest to it. The sentiment that has been changing over the years, and not to say that Bitcoin is controlled, well, maybe, but controlled by a central entity such as pump fund is. But I think that it's going to take time for perceptions to change, and I think they have a unique opportunity to see kind of what went well and then what they could do better to ensure user safety.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with them being first, they've got to kind of set the benchmark, right? And it's true, but um, with the a lot of scammers, obviously we've seen that in crypto quite a lot, and I think some nice regulation that's crypto friendly but gets rid of all the scams, could be just a stone throw away, and that's good for me. I mean, I quite like the idea of a little bit of regulation, even though we've been really so free for years to do what we want. It is about time that something comes and gets rid of all the scams.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great point. I'd love somebody to explain to me, of course I know this, but to explain it to the audience, like, why would Pump Fun create their own native token? Who'd like to take that on?
Well, I think that's just it. It was the next step, right? So you bring out I mean, a lot of people do this the wrong way, but you bring out the utility, you see that it works, and of course, then release your token. But I think in the future they've got some kind of, right, okay, we've got a crypto president now. Could this get easier for us? And it may be regulating for us so we can become a pump ETF or something along that lines. And I don't think it's really far-fetched that. I think a lot of ETFs have been accepted over the last few months, and could it be a pump ETF in the future with the right regulations? Maybe.
Any comeback on that from anybody? I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, actually, so I think it could be. I mean, I don't know about this, but usually, I think a long time ago, the first dApps that happened, like the first DEXs, if I remember correctly, or again, correct me if I'm wrong, they first came out, and then later came a token. So it could be part of a governance, maybe, that they want to do. Could be. I'm not, again, not 100% sure, but I feel like that could be a possibility, kind of like to help out in to cover which direction maybe the platform wants to go in, right? Or maybe have some more control over things that they want to do, because a token does facilitate that, right? You have the possibility to do things more directly with a token. And so I think that could be one of the reasons, or maybe some benefits in regards to rewards as well. I think I did read something very, very vaguely about them having a hook to a special program. I think I remember reading that. So it could be some sort of reward system. Maybe if you use the swap, there's many things that can go that way, I feel, with their token.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point in terms of like who knows what's going to happen first and foremost, but how they've structured the utility or the platform around the token sale. There's arguments. Do they need a token? Are they going to? Why should they do a token? What's the aftermath of the token? What's the future utility? How it looks? The roadmap off the back of it. But the fact is, they've done it. And they've raised over $500 million in 12 minutes, an insane amount. Now, I can see we've been joined by Lisa. So welcome to you, Lisa. I've managed to get you up on the stage. Thank you very much for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody watching?
Oh, hello. I'm sorry I'm late. I had trouble
Hi, Lisa.
signing in. I couldn't remember my Facebook password. Far too many passwords nowadays to remember. Yes, so I'm Lisa, CTO lead of E1 Wusk, which was a pump fund launch. And yeah, we took over after a couple of weeks. It went up to like 3.4 million and then it dumped, but it was just too good to let go. So community came together and we CTO'd it about end of March now, so it's been a while. What
And
else?
it's doing really well, right? It's doing really well.
Has been doing really well. We did have there was a couple of 2 clusters in there, and we weren't sure who they belonged to. They were from the original original snipers or insiders, and they recently sold off, which did drop our market cap, but we're still working really hard and we're still fully committed, and we are just gradually going up and up and up. So it's been a bit of a journey, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed what we've been doing, and that's the main thing, I suppose. If it's fun, it's not always about the money, is it? Sometimes it's just about the fun that you have along the way. The pump fun.
That's a really serious point, isn't it, Lisa? Talking about community, people having fun, feeling a part of something. Many for meme coins, that's exactly what they are. They're a gateway to enter like a new group of friends, or maybe even social circles they've never even dreamed of imagining. By the way, it's so nice to hear a local accent. So thank you very much for joining us, Lisa. I'd love to get your thoughts on the question that we've got in hand here. Now, this is one of our winners from today. They refer to, pump fun as being a force for bad. There's too much toxicity. It's a dangerous environment, and there's lots of scammers. As a successful launch, what's your take?
Well, there is a lot on pump fun is very risky. Things launch and then they go. You buy in and then they dump 10 minutes later. You've just got to be really selective, haven't you? And just do your research and. Yeah, just basically, I think it's good because it makes launching something accessible to many people who wouldn't necessarily have got involved before. It's a good way of learning about how to run a project, launching something, learning as you go. I think it's great. It's great for it makes it accessible for ordinary people.
Access is super important, isn't it? And this probably brings me really nicely to the next question. And this is from Crypto Savant One. Now, what do you think the eligibility criteria for a pump token should be? Should anybody be able to just go and release a token? Let's start with you again, Lisa.
Well, I think, as I said, it's great for being accessible, but I do think there should be certain guidelines that you've got to stick to. There should be some kind of rules. Maybe it should be that you've got a roadmap in place. Maybe it should be that I don't know. You just meet a few checkpoints. I don't know what that could be. I've not really thought about that, but I do think, although it's accessible, which is great, it does open the doors for a lot of people just to scam people. So they do need to have maybe a selection criteria. I don't know what that could be.
I think it's a really good point. Pixie, I'd love to get your thoughts on this.
I feel a certain kind of way about Pump Fun. I think it's too easy to launch on Pump Fun, and that brings in more scammers because it is so easy. All you have to do is put your email in, any email. It can be an email that you just created. You don't have to KYC. You don't have to do anything. You can even just download Phantom Wallet or not download Phantom Wallet, connect any wallet to Pump Fund, and you can launch a token. It's just all willy-nilly, and it's truly the wild, wild west. And that's why we have a 13-year-old that launched a project and then rugged on people. And that's why we have people that 99% bundle their launch and then dump on people. Like regular people who work daily jobs, blue collar jobs, very, very few white collar jobs are out here putting their money into pump fund and they're losing it to scammers. So there's got to be a better way.
If I
There
may,
really has, hasn't there? John, I'd love to get your take on this.
Yeah, I think I think when regulation comes, I mean, I'm gonna throw something out there. We've obviously got Bitcoin, Ethereum, uh, coins that are up in the top 10 and they're doing amazing things. And then we've got pump fund tokens. When regulation does come, are they going to split them dead in the middle as betting tokens and actual real world use tokens? That's my question. I think is because we've got, obviously, in the stock exchange we've got spread betting and we've got buying the actual stock, but so when regulation does come, are we going to have betting and actual utility tokens?
I mean, it's an interesting take, and I think where you define the line, between utility and not, is probably a discussion maybe for another time. Crypto Minute Run, I'd love to get your take on this, because I know, as somebody that is not only an advocate for the space but a coach within the space, what's your take in terms of eligibility criteria within Pump Fund?
That I definitely think it is needed. Like, for example, I had some of my own students in the past few months when the pump fund was hyped up a lot. I literally had students making their own coins and trying to rug people as they were getting rugged themselves. So I can see where the toxic environment is, where we would need some sort of criteria. Maybe something like you have two pump funds. You have one for the beginner, for the one person who wants to try a project out, and then you have one for an official project that actually has some sort of substance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, how would you define that substance? Like, because obviously it's very subjective when it comes to building something, right? What may
It
mean,
is.
as an awful lot to some communities, maybe a really minor, milestone on a longer roadmap. So maybe you could allude to some of the examples, that you're referring to within that.
Yeah. I mean, within the criteria itself, like, you need teams. I think you need, like, for example, you have to have at least two people or three people working as a team in order to go ahead and show your project or start the coin or so forth. You know what I mean? Like, some sort of criteria where, I mean, it's a hard question and it's a hard answer, but there's got to be something done where we split the two worlds in between, where you have your novice and you have your actual experts. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I think that would give clear guidance to people. This is hard. It's incredibly hard work, and I'm sure that Pixie and a few of the other guys here that have got projects, and Lisa, they would, this is so stressful, trying to deliver a roadmap, a project for a group of people with huge expectations, and trying to manage that and build at the same time in a highly competitive market. It's not only stressful, but it's actually impossible probably for one person to take on. So the emphasis on team, in my opinion, is a really, really strong point. John, I'd love your take on that.
Yeah, I think so. I think there should be some kind of criteria, and actually coming together as a team and creating tokens will stop the scammers, because it's so easy to just maybe a college student. I'm not picking on college students, but just log on to the computer and release it themselves with no real. They know it's going to have no future, and just with that hope that it might just pop off. If there is two wallets connected, meaning that there's two people in the team, I think that's a pretty good idea as well. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, no. George, like to come to you on this, buddy. I know we want to come straight over to you and get some insights.
Yes. So at least I think, from my opinion, something I feel like will definitely change how everything is being done is probably how money will flow. That's the way that I see. I feel like the most. I mean, because allowing anyone to launch a token, we're in crypto, so I'm looking more into the future. So I think that's not inherently a bad idea per se, but I feel like the best way that this could be fixed is by maybe fixing the mechanic of how the distribution of tokens is gonna be, right? Because right now it's more like you launch it, it's instant. You distribute it, it's instant. People can exchange it instantly, and when you do all of that instantly, it's like you can easily go up and then down, and then everyone can easily sell. So I think from again, I'm a developer, so I think from my perspective as developer, I would say maybe we have to start to think about a mechanic in which we are looking more for a long term, whether it be maybe lock of tokens or however it may be that is inherently in the platform before it launches at a pool, for example. Just kind of come with ideas that are more towards a long-term project than a quick buck. So yeah, I just think that would be the best option, instead of, because if you do KYC and all of these things, it can still happen. Unfortunately, I do come from another chain where unfortunately the founder did some bad stuff. I don't want to put any burn there, but even the founder himself, who was doxxed and everything, he had quick access to those funds, and boom, suddenly things happen. So I think changing those mechanics will be much better in this situation.
I think
Yeah, no, it's really, really interesting points there. Daniel, are you still there with us? If so, I'd like to bring the next question to you and change it up a little bit with a positive spin from Loudspotter. Now, this is a great question, in my opinion. In 12 minutes, $500 million raised for anything is some feat. Let's be totally honest, especially with the world crises that are going on when you zoom out away from crypto. Now, the thought process here from this question is, do you think that this could then trigger some form of bull run for meme coins? Or frankly, is this the last hurrah? Is this the finish line? Is it over if this doesn't go well? Daniel, what's your take?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I will have to hop off afterwards. I had an employee slip and fall upstairs. So unfortunately, F&B manager isn't here, so I got to go deal with it, of course. But what I will say about the bull run for meme coins, it's looking, as Bitcoin hits all-time high and everything else is starting to fly, and then Pump Fund launching at literally the best time ever. Like, you couldn't have timed this any better for them. I think that potentially, yes, that this could be the bull run for meme coins. But I think that if Pump Fund wants to be the de facto, say, leader of meme culture in a way, which I think that they could be, and I think there's been no other platform more talked about than Pump Fund in the last while. I think that with that amount of funds that they raised, I would like to see them sort of have some support for coins launched through Pump Fund, maybe some sponsorship opportunity or some additional marketing or some coaching or some services, or something that Pump Fund does with just a small part of that money for all the coins that were launched through Pump Fund. So that way, as we talked about before about what they can do, KYC is not, the deterrent that people would think it is. But I think that if they KYC and they, have this sort of support and, hand-holding to sort of assist projects, with getting better and utilizing funds as a way of, increasing the visibility and also the utility of the projects that launch through Pump Fund. I think that it very well could be the start of something great. And I think they could absolutely spark a lot of interest. If people sort of get word, and everybody is chasing funds, of course, but if people get word that some of those funds are going to be dedicated to, assisting meme coins and Pump Fund coins, I think people will absolutely flock to coins listed through Pump Fund. And I think that it really could spark, renewed interest in memes and really spark a bull run.
And I hope your colleague is okay, by the way. Thank you very much for staying on with you. But you brought us so many, valuable points there. Now, Crypto Minute Run, I'd love to come to you. And thank you very much again for your time there, Daniel. $500 million. There's a load of money now, in terms of liquidity heading on into memes. Is that going to trickle on and cause a meme bull run? What's next?
Yeah, I definitely think we have another meme coin run coming. It's gonna in my opinion, it's gonna come after the Dino coins pump again, which seems like they are starting to this week or so with H bar and XLM and so forth. I think we will have another meme run, and it's gonna be a strong one because there's gonna be so much more liquidity in the market from selling the Dino coins and so forth. So I think the liquidity is going to run in through the Dino coins because when the crowd comes back, they're going to be coming back to the coins that they know first, the coins that they've been holding for a few years, and they're finally in profit. They're going to want to take profit, and they're going to want to get into something fun, like pump fun. So I believe so. I believe that's what I believe. Definitely a meme coin, big meme coin run coming in.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you believe that, due to the success or maybe not of this, that sheer amount of funds or resources then going to trickle out into other projects. I mean, Lisa, as somebody that's CTO'd a project, you must be hoping that that's the case, right? What's your take on what's happening, with this? Is a bull run coming for memes?
Oh, I think it is. Yes, I do. I really do think it is. I think we've been patient long enough. I think all the holders that have been holding all this time are a lot of people are really hopeful, and I think people are starting to feel that and are putting more into what they're already holding. Yeah, I do think it's going to come into memes. I hope so.
I was going to say, you hope so.
We all do.
I mean, I hope so for you as well, Lisa. I wish you the very best of luck with your project. George, I'd like to come. Sorry, Lisa, go on.
No, it's okay. Go on. It's okay.
Oh, no worries. George, I'd like to come to you on this because, from somebody, again, international, I'm saying international, I think we all are in different countries. I'm over here in Dubai. We've got England, America, Canada, all over the world. I think you said that you're in another continent again there earlier in the conversation,
Yeah, Peru.
From an international perspective, we often see trends within markets, and in many groups they use this as a marketing tool. Like the Chinese whales are coming, for example, and there's a certain trend within that community that perhaps they're talking about a topic before others. Is there anything from the market of which you're based upon, signifying that something is coming, or are you surely kind of like the same as us, sat back waiting to see what happens in the next 3-4 hours as to how successful this may be?
Actually, yeah. I mean, at least from here, there's not many people that I know. Actually, I know only like a couple of people that are from LATAM. And actually, it's kind of funny that you're mentioning this because just literally like 4 or 5 days ago, there was a group of people that I met, in crypto, and they were talking just briefly, like, hey, why aren't there like too many tokens, from LATAM? And that was it. There was nothing more, so. At least just someone coming from or someone who's in the region of LATAM, I would say that like mostly everything is still in the tokens that are in, I would say, in English, right? Because I don't know if you have seen any tokens in Spanish. I don't think I have, right? Not like big
I haven't.
ones. Right, it's just not, it's almost non-existent. So I would say, from my end, I'm just like always just kind of watching, just looking at the market, what's popping, and if something comes out, I do take my time, to kind of like analyze it. I don't jump like straight forward to it, so yeah, just just being cautious, because I at the beginning when I first came to Solana, because again I do come from another chain, it was super exciting. I actually came because of Trump. So he's the one that brought me over, and that's how I started using pump funds.
I mean, he's in my bad books, Mr. Trump. Even though some of his comments arguably have affected the space in a positive way. I don't know what was going on in my mind. In like 8-9 months ago, things were going good. I bought a few memes, that were successful, of course, from the back of his. And he had released a trade of watches, that you could buy directly with the token. And it literally arrived 2 weeks ago. This guy, he sat on that watch for me for 8-9 months, however long it was. a bit of a disaster. But, you bring a really strong point there around political nature and where it's at. If you don't mind, I'd like to be a little bit shilly at the moment around something that we do have here at Big Get Wallet. And why would I like to be shilly? Because I genuinely believe that this is something that you should all probably sit up and have a look at. And this is MemeScan. Now, it's our new feature that allows you to buy instantly any token on pump.fun, whether that's bonded or not bonded. It gives you the ability to trade in milliseconds, and it's faster than arguably trading directly on Pump Fun itself. You've got the ability to trade new, finalizing, and of course, launch tokens. Now, what is actually in it for you? You've got the ability to get pumped, and that sounds a little bit strange, but actually BG Pump is 1-to-1 in terms of the token pump on the token exchange. Now, of course, congrats to users that joined us nice and early and farmed a lot of BG Pump, but for those that haven't, you still have the ability to do that by trying out MemeScan. Now, to go out there and farm the tokens, 500 BG Pump is for one transaction, $20 or more on any Pump.Fun token, of course, out there using MemeScan. Now, over $1,000 worth of tokens, you can earn, of course, a lot more in terms of the point systems. Of course, then we're giving away one FOMO OG voucher, which brings me on. Of course, I don't know whether you've seen my background. Now, we have FOMO Thursdays, and FOMO Thursdays Thursdays have always been my favorite day of the week because where I'm from, in Warrington, Thursday was a great night to go and meet your friends and have a drink. But now it's an even better day of the week. And why is it a better day of the week? Because FOMO Thursday allows people to earn weekly in our wallet. And what we do is we give people the chance to win up-and-coming projects. And in this case, of course, we have highlighted Pump.Fun and Pump Token as exactly that. Now, how do you get involved? What you need to do is head on over to the application on a Wednesday, and during that Wednesday, you need to stake $10 to get your scratch card. Now, you're going to say, Jamie, it was risk-free. It absolutely is. On a Thursday, once you've got your scratch card, you take your $10 back. It costs you literally nothing, and what you need to do is make sure that you get in there nice and early. Last week, in 15 minutes, we sold out all 50,000 spots. So do not rely on it because there's 18 million users trying to get the hands on this. Now, this week's a little bit different. You can get a ticket via MemeScan to actually enter the draw, and the top winner will walk away with our biggest prize yet of $6,666 in Pump Token. Now, I just want to make sure that you do get your hands on this. We've already given away nearly $300,000. This is an incredible amount of money. And of course, it summarizes everything that we're trying to do here for our users. So if there is any take homes for you, of course, you've got MemeScan, which besides being smooth, the best mobile experience, in my opinion, for meme coin trading, bringing you the lowest fees. By the way, go and check it out. The AI filters that we have, for example, if you like Elon or you like a dog, you can search them in MemeScan and we will show you all of the meme coins, down to that narrative. It's not just a tool to get in nice and early. It helps you categorize exactly what it is that we're trying to do here. That's enough of the classless or classy shill that we wanted to put in there. Let's come back to the subject at hand. Let's have a quick look at some of the questions that we've had coming in. Now, this is a great question, and this is from Crypto Saving again. I mean, you've won twice. I mean, again, another fantastic question. But would KYC fix the Pump Fun rugging problem? Pixie, I'd like to come straight to you.
I don't think it will, because you're always going to have bad people. It doesn't matter if we know their name or not. So I think KYCing is not going to be the totality of fixing the problem. I think it could probably help, but I agree with the gentleman earlier who said that, sorry, my dog's in the background going absolutely bananas. I agree with the gentleman earlier that said, the team is going to be what makes the difference. And maybe, making them have a website and a Telegram and all of these things instead of just letting it be an option. So if Pump Fund makes that mandatory before you can launch a project, then maybe that would help the rugging problem. But just KYCing alone is not going to solve the problem because there are too many people that have never been punched in the face, and it shows.
I mean, how do you follow up from that? I mean, John, I'm going to come to you, not about being punched in the face. And, that's not a reference to your face in the slightest. But, what is KFC? KFC, that's a chicken place.
That's a
KYC,
chicken place.
that's because it's two time here in
Pixie
Dubai.
Pixie always makes me laugh, and that's why we do Taco Tuesdays together. But very funny, Pixie. Yeah, I think it's a start. KYC is a start, but yeah, I think it just has to be truly audited, and there's a lot of companies coming up in the crypto space where they're doing audits. One of them's Audit AI. I know they're based in Ireland, and it just looks over the person, the project, and make sure that it's fully KYC'd. And yeah, I think that's why there's been so many companies set up for doing KYC, like Audit AI as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. KYC, what level of KYC, and then how it's shared, right? When it does hit the fan and there is a problem, where does that information get shared? Is it accurate data? Who is, of course, auditing that KYC process? Crypto Minute, I'd like to come back to you on this. Again, arguably in one of the countries that have got the most significant, when it comes to regulation standpoint at the moment in terms of enforcement. Have you noticed anything when it comes to KYC in terms of people's attitudes to a product or a service?
In here in Canada, yeah, KYC is mandatory for anything crypto that you got to sign up on. But I in regards to the pump fund and the rugging issue, I don't think just the KYC alone will do it. It will have to be a number of things that need to that they would need to add. You know what I mean? Because just because the KYC would be added on, I still think you'll still get copycats. They're like the copycatting of the pump fund is a huge issue in my belief, because you just get token and then you get another chain token and so forth. So I don't think just the one KYC will do it, but I think it could help if it comes with a group of restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Canada, arguably, again, is one of the most strenuous and strongest in terms of enforcement of it. And nice and early, by the way. Not many people, realize that they did it so early.
Yeah, we had the first Bitcoin ETF here in Canada, actually.
Yeah, it's right. And people don't actually recognize Canada as a booming spot when it comes to a lot of everything that we're discussing here today, actually. It's really
huge market here. Huge industry here in Toronto.
It's interesting that your main event, though, has headed over to the States, but maybe we can talk about that another time. Okay, I do want to wrap up with the final question, and the final question is basically, and this will also give you an opportunity here to really kind of talk about yourselves, talk about your projects, talk about who you're working with, and where people can find you. Simple answer, yes or no. Are you bullish on the back of Pump launch? And then break it down. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Let's start with George. We'll come to you, please, buddy.
All right. So I think the Pump token launch is very bullish in terms for the general space, right? Because again, it is a platform where people, like for example, me, I come from another chain, and it was rather easy to launch our token. I mean, we didn't launch it on Pump Fund, but we did have opportunity to launch on Pump Fund. And when I found about it, it was super simple. It wasn't like too complex. I come from another chain where you have to know quite a lot to even create a token. So I think just the fact that they did this, it creates more social awareness, right, of like crypto in general, of Solana especially, right? So very, very big awareness of Solana. So I think it's very bullish. And at least like I said, we didn't launch on Pump Fund. My project being Poppy 4i, we had to name it 4i instead of AI, just because we were kind of scared about the snipers, because all the AI tokens get sniped pretty intensely. and that was another scare of us, and that's the reason why we didn't launch on Pump Fun. We actually launched on Boop.fun, and we just thought we did it that way because it looked a little bit more cultish, more safe-ish, right? We're trying to aim for a long-term project here, and I think it went rather well. You know, at the beginning, I think we launched like up to 600. We bonded within like 2-3 minutes or something like that. It was super crazy. I was rushing to like update all the socials and everything because it was like the first token that we launched. So it was crazy. But yeah, you know, I'm very happy to be here. I'm actively developing. I do want to make a utility AI, and just a little bit about the project. It's about a AI singer. So we're doing a decentralized voting at the moment. Actually, today starts the lyric submission. If anybody is a musician, wants to participate in creating lyrics, and we all vote, and the jackpot is spread to the winner, which I think is pretty cool. But other than that, we're also doing a mini game and even more towards governance. So there's a lot of stuff we're doing here.
No, thank you very much, George, for your time. I really do appreciate this. Thank you very much for jumping on today. I'd like to come to you, please, Pixie. Is it bullish? Yes or no? Tell us where we can find a little bit more about your project. And thank you very much for your time today.
I am going to go with a hard maybe. And I say that because I did a little bit of quick research. I think that everyone should do their own research before they buy into anything. And it says that 20% of the tokens are reserved for team allocation. And me, myself, that's a little bit scary because 20% of 500 million is 100 million. And what the team does with that allocation will be the difference in my bullishness of the Pump Fund project. I do think that everyone needs to do their own research and trade responsibly according to their financial situation, and maybe just keep an eye on it.
I mean, that's really great advice. Of course, you should always do your own research, stay within your means, you know, make sure that you remember that end goal and limit the risks that you do have. Thank you very much, Pixie. Thank you very much for joining us today. You will hopefully come back and join us again in the near future. We've enjoyed having you on today. Awesome. Crypto Minute Run, I'd like to come to you, please. Let's finish up with you. Bullish, yes or no?
Thanks,
And tell us a
Shannon.
little bit more about
Thank
you.
you guys for having me. Me? Is it still my go? Okay.
No.
I am. Wait, who am I going? I'm so confused right now.
I think it's me, Pixie.
Okay,
I
you
just
go.
wanted to
Sorry.
say, yeah, no worries. I just wanted to say, yeah, I do believe it's bullish. Just due to the fact that the amount of money they raised and the time that it was raised in, the hype it's gotten already, it's already bullish, and I think it will continue, especially once the next meme coin bull run starts. So I definitely think it is bullish overall. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Crypto Minute Run. I just want to say a massive thank you for you for joining, by the way. Again, I watch your WhatsApp groups, your groups, your sub-communities. You do a great job in the community. So thank you very much for everything that you do for the wider space. John, we've lost Lisa, so I'd like to get some closing thoughts from you. Again, thank you to Lisa for joining. Big shout out to her community. Great to have a local person and accent joining us today.
For me, I think it's really bullish, especially because we're all up here talking about the Pump Fun alt season, when really we know for years and years and years it's been Ethereum leads the alt season. So the fact that we've just changed that little bit of narrative to could this create the alt season has pushed the Ethereum that narrative out, I think. And for me, just hearing that, I am definitely bullish.
I mean, that is a really nice way to end. I'm just getting rid of everybody off the screen. So thank you very much to everybody that has summarized. Once again, Crypto Minute Run, thank you for joining us today. Now, John, we are summarizing everything here at BitGet Wallet. I know we're working incredibly hard. You're from the European team. We launched the crypto card, the MasterCard, of course, out in Europe. We've got some exciting developments happening in LATAM in the upcoming months or weeks, actually. We're a matter of 2-3 weeks away from that. I'm heading over to Brazil, Rio. Cannot wait for that event and to launch our MasterCard. Insane development that is coming. So cannot wait for that. But John, what has been your highlight in the last few weeks when it comes to BitGet Wallet?
I've got to say, and I know, to be honest, it has been the team. Of course, you know, I've I've only been working for BitGet Wallet for just over a month now, and everybody in the team, I mean, it's solid, right? It's solid. Everybody's there helping you out, and it's great. Everybody works. Everybody works hard. My take on BitGet Wallet is that if you haven't got the app, go and have a look. Go and have a look. You'll see that it's so clean, so sleek. Like I mentioned before about the pump fund flashing, there's none of that around the pump fund tokens that you've got on the BitGet wallet. It makes you think about what you're investing more, and yeah, I like that cleanliness. Also, it's been very, very busy at BitGet and BitGet Wallet, and there is so much out there to come. I'm looking forward to it. I'm working hard, and I know all the team is as well.
Perfect. Well, a massive thank you to you, John. It's been a pleasure to have you all join me on today's Spaces. Again, thank you to everybody that's joined us. Well done to all of the winners. And if you haven't checked out MemeScan, this is your chance. Go and do it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's go.